Our celebrations, traditions, and rituals have all had to be reimagined and modified to deal with the realities of living with the COVID-19 pandemic. Now that we are coming up to the December festivities, many of us are really thinking about how we're going to take this time to honor and celebrate the upcoming festivities of December and what our darkest days of the year will look like as we await the celebration of the return of the light. Today on Gently Being, I'm going to be sharing some ideas that are specifically looking at how to honor and take time to appreciate the Advent season. Hi, welcome to Gently Being. This video is being posted on November 15th, which marks the beginning of the Advent season in the Celtic Church. In the early days of the Celtic Church, November 15th marked 40 days before Christmas, and that's when the preparations for Christmas Day began. For myself, in late summer, I really started to think about how December would be different this year. Last year, I actually organized and hosted a winter solstice indoor labyrinth. And for the last few years, I have really made it a priority to attend Advent Sunday services at a church. And when I was reflecting on all this, I really thought about how most of the year I live a rather solitary life, but December was a time when I really did focus on getting together in groups and community, and that this would have to be different this year. And also I came to realize that I would really deeply miss singing together and singing together in a group. So that's why my first suggestion for how to celebrate and acknowledge and honor the Advent season is to sing. You may want to, ahead of time, schedule what songs you want to sing out loud on the Sundays of Advent. And this gives you some flexibility to choose the songs that you think fit each week best to you and to the meaning of that week for you. And if you live in a household with your family or some other friends, this may be something that you want to do together. Pick songs that maybe you'll practice on your own during the week and then come together on that Advent Sunday to sing together. It's really making a point of making space for the singing. I know that December we often sing a lot to ourselves anyways, but it's a really wonderful way to just sing out loud, sing proud, and have some fun. If you live in the kind of community that is really trying to come together during these times, maybe you'll want to see if you can organize on your block or in your apartment building a time when you go outside and carol and sing together while socially distancing. Again, allowing song to really fill these dark nights of December. The second idea is one that my mom shared with me, and that is to pick a person that you trust who maybe is also a person who is spiritual and interested in having a spiritual companion. And with that person, for the days of Advent, you're going to keep a journal. And each day you can decide what you're going to write. It can be what you did that day, some of your reflections on that day, how you were feeling, anything. It's something that you and your partner will decide together. And then at the end of Advent, you'll exchange journals to allow the other person to read what you wrote, and then maybe be able to give you some insights or thoughts on what they experienced by reading your journal. And sometimes this can be really eye-opening for each other, because sometimes we don't pick up patterns that we may have that are positive or negative, and it can be beneficial to have someone else sort of experiencing that with you through a journal. It's really important that if you do decide to do this, that you pick a person that you really trust and who you know will keep your confidence if you decide to share more personal things in the journal. But at the same time, you can decide the limits on what goes in the journal. Perhaps it will literally just be like things you do during your day, or just some thoughts on the Advent or December season. So you definitely set your own guidelines for this, but it could be something really beautiful that you do with someone else, or even a group of friends or family members if that works for you. And the third and final idea is to make time each night to pray or meditate during the Advent season. You can either, meditate and pray on the same words or same thoughts each night, or perhaps you'll want to have a meditation or prayer that is more centered around some of the themes of Advent. For those who are interested, I'm actually going to be hosting a free Advent newsletter, and I'll be sending emails that just have some meditations and inspiration and reflections on the season that you then may want to use for your Advent meditations and or prayers. I'll put a link in the description below of where you can sign up, and the email's free and you won't be spammed, and you won't be emailed after the Advent season's through. It's just to help bring people together and give some inspiration during the Advent season. So again, this third idea is to try and make some space each night for a prayer or a meditation during the Advent season. And that's for you to decide how much time works for you too. Maybe it'll just be 3 minutes each night, maybe 5 or 10. Find what works for you in your life. Thanks so much for tuning in to this Gently Being video. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel below and hit the bell notification so you always know when there's a new video. Wishing you a wonderful Advent season. Thanks again for watching Gently Being.